Hey guys, and welcome to Signals from the Frontline, your every Wednesday live broadcast brought to you by Frontline Gaming. We are your hosts, Nicky Dee, Flannel Fan, Flannel Fan, and producer extraordinaire, and I'm Seth the Mad Dok, your sometimes tongue-tied competitive correspondent. How you been doing, Nicky Dee?
I am good. Happy Wednesday to everybody. Hope your September here. Seth, we're halfway through September. Can you believe that? I don't know what's happening in the
More
world
than
here.
halfway through
I
September.
know. It's a lot, but things are busy. Seth, you're down in the American Southeast. Is it still hot where you are? Because it's no longer.
It's like 80s in the day and 50 cents. It's like I literally said to one of my bosses today, I was like, "This is the time of year that I actually like the temperature here. It's cool in the evening, warm during the day.
Yeah. I feel like it's. I as I've
Good
talked to
sleeping weather."
folks. Some people have brought it up where it's like it doesn't feel like fall yet. It's not fall weather and not ready for the pumpkin spice yet because it's still 90 degrees outside.
Oh, I'm waiting for the day my wife's like, "So we're gonna do chili this week," and I'll be like, "Yes, let's do it."
Yeah, I'm in for that. But so I'm happy for some fall weather. I'm happy for some changes that are there, and getting to be outside a little bit where it's not completely gross. But also that I can still, enjoy some of that time. But Seth, let's jump in for tonight's episode. We are missing Kicker. He is
Well,
out.
hey, what have you been up to?
Oh yeah, what a me. We start with me.
Yeah. This is like the what have you been up to? Yeah, we literally have a section in the notes about it.
Yeah. Okay, hold on. I've got the slides in a different order. So brought this up the last couple of weeks where I did my service. I did my time, a full year with demons, chaos demons as my army. So I'm switching it up and playing Necrons now. So going to be playing my Necron army. I started them in 9th edition with the Indominus set. But I really like the idea of Necrons, but I need to add more models. So I got 5 Lich Guard. They're not completely, technically fully done. I still got to do a little bit of the blades, but I don't have the paint that I need for them. So aside from that, they are done, but I'm nearly there. So I'm happy with that progress. I'll get the paint and I'll finish them off, but they were close enough. I felt comfortable sharing them with this level. I'm not sure what I'm going to paint next, though, Seth. And so that part. I've got 60 painted. I might not need more warriors. No, actually, I do know what I'm doing next. Ophidian destroyers.
Oh, that's right. We were talking about that pre-show.
Ophidian destroyers. I've been talking actually with some folks and Vanguard Tactics. They had an episode out today about the Necron Index review with Matt Laura. He ran them the Necrons at Nova, and I talked with him about his list there at Nova. The list that he was running, I really liked. It's a lot of Canoptech stuff, and then he's got a lot of little the Ophidians, 3 units of them, some really cool tech that he had in there. It seems like a list that I would like to run, but I need to build and paint Ophidians because I don't have any right now, so they're going to be next. But it might be a while before I get to those. But Seth, you've been doing some painting.
I have. Folks may remember from a couple weeks ago where I showed you I have my own Seth the Mad Dok model, but I decided to scale it up to as big as my printer would go, and I finally finished painting the big Mad Dok. I took a comparison photo here with the original 100% model, and I really just want to entitle this photo, "You Stay Away from My Son." But I got that finished up. That's a big desk ornament for my my work office now. So I got a big Mad Dok there. So finally finished that painting. It was definitely interesting trying to scale up a miniature paint scheme to a figure that large and make it look good still. It was interesting, but I got it done, so I'm happy with it. And then we were talking pre-show. I have to come clean, Nicky Dee. I promised the viewers.
Hit me with it. What's
promised the viewers that I would stay with orcs for a year, but I've been struggling to find an army that I really was enjoying. My goal was best orcs, and so I was talking with one of my coaches, and we were doing the math. And you and I we're going to be at LVO working, not playing. So without LVO as an option for me, it really wasn't possible for me to achieve best orcs anymore. So I have a few more local events on my books that I'm going to play in this year. And so we've been talking about it, and I made the switch earlier this week to trying to play some Votann again.
How is that experience so far?
I have been enjoying them. They have been a lot of fun. They're a very different playstyle. mainly because I have what you in other armies like to call guns, with
Yeah,
ballistic skill that hits.
my demons and blood angels don't really know what that word means, Seth. So
So
other than
yeah,
we don't like them.
it's been fun playing. It's been fun. I mean, I literally, like, beginning of this week, I had no idea what stratagems they even had. We were just talking about what armies I had, and my coaches were like, try Votan, and then like I cracked it open, was looking, I was like, there's some good stuff in here. So they have definitely, I'm coming at them with a bit of a skewed view because I didn't really play them pre-balance update, but I know they got big points drops, and I know the mechanical changes of getting 4 units that you can tag for that double token is a big deal. So I'm excited to kind of experiment in that space, bust out the Votan for painting again, and trying to remember the paint scheme I did last year, because I did last fall. I did the whole paint of Votan, 2,000 point Votan army. Kicker and I both did it. I succeeded in finishing mine.
Beat him to the finish. Yeah.
I beat him, period. He didn't finish. Sorry, bud. But yeah, so excited to kind of get back and try that out again. And I'll be honest, you know, we have an idea of the roadmap of 40K for the next year. And they put Orcs down as a spring summer release for 2024. And part of me was thinking, man, if I play Orcs for a solid year, like through January, and they release like an Orc Codex in April, and I'm going to want to go back. So I was like, this is a chance to play something different for a while. So I'm having fun with it. Don't judge me, chat. I see your judgment, Artemis. I see the judgment from Matt. It's okay, guys. I'm having fun. I haven't left the Orcs. There's a big one of them hanging around on my work desk.
Yeah,
So.
Seth, in my day job, I do coaching for folks on goal setting and when to understand and when to track for some of the items. An important part of goal setting sometimes is realizing, hey, I'm not going to hit the goal. So in order to still enjoy the experience, let me change, let me pivot. So I applaud you for doing that part of it. I think that's a good move. You know, you had and you were clearly going for the best orc, but now you're just going to be going for that best orc when they have a new 10th edition codex, right?
That's right.
You're gonna have a new time to do it. The other part here, and Seth, you can feel free to throw a judgment token at me via our virtual news desk here. I'm realizing Games Workshop. You were talking about Votan.
Yes.
They revealed a new amazing
literally
Votan
the
model.
day after I played my first game with Votan.
Yeah, I forgot to put a picture of it in the slide deck and add it to our show notes. But can we talk about? So, is this an existing Votan model? What is this thing?
It is an existing model. It is the Anir champion, but it's a new sculpt for him. But literally, like the day after I played my game, I woke up and I was like, "This is a sign from Papa GW. Papa GW supports this decision." So, if anyone is at an event where they sell those, you know, let the Mad Dok know, and he'll PayPal you, and he would like one. That would be nice.
I will say.
I also, you know, I'm a sucker for 40K merch. I may have been doing some poking around on Etsy last night and found a T-shirt that says "That's a grudgin." Not in my size. It was only 2X. I need a 3X, so I gotta see about maybe getting some custom shirts made.
Yeah, I do think Seth, it's it's a cool thing, and with that model. Right. We even if you don't play armies, when new models get revealed, people are going to share their thoughts.
Yeah.
I don't think I've seen the online Warhammer community so aligned in excitement for how good a model looks in such a long time. Everyone seems to love this sculpt. People that already have 2 or maybe even 3 of the Einhir champion, or however you say it, are probably looking at picking one of these up just because it's so great looking. And
yeah, I mean, he's got a little bolter shield. He's kind of posing with it all like sassy. I love it. He's good.
Yep.
We're all in.
So, all right, Seth, I think we've covered what we needed to go through as far as what we have been doing. So again, we're not running with Kicker tonight, just the 2-man show and the chat. Special shout out to my friend Brian who joined the chat here as well. And getting back into the Warhammer game. So excited to have him here. Looking, or maybe not looking forward to, new Space Marines. So we got a little bit of news from Games Workshop earlier this week about some impending changes for Space Marines and the Codex. So let's just rip this Band-Aid. What can folks expect based on what we know, based on what Games Workshop has said so far?
Oath of Moment is changing, and you will no longer get the standard Oath of Moment wound rerolls. That is big. That's a big change for Space Marines in general. There's not, if you remove that as a mechanic, from everything we've seen, there's not a whole lot of other options for rerolls to wound. Now there are some options to add things that have like lethal hits, but that is a big change. And to be fair, it definitely was skewy kind of in terms of how things played out. It may have like some, one unit, if it has full reroll to wound, might be able to kill a knight, and the next turn it might struggle to kill a small to medium tank if it doesn't have full reroll wounds. So it definitely skewed the effectiveness. So I am interested to see what other rules Space Marines will be getting with their detachments, because losing that is certainly going to hurt. But if we get some stronger rules in the form of the detachments, because Oath, correct me if I'm wrong, is the army rule for Space Marines,
Army
not
rule,
the
yes.
detachment rule. The detachment for the Gladius was the Dev Doctrine, Assault Doctrine, Tactical Doctrine. Okay, yeah. So then, yeah. So if there are some strong detachment rules, that certainly could push them back up in the kind of the power scale.
Yeah, so I'll be interested to see. We're starting to see, we've gotten some rules from Games Workshop as far as what those detachments are going to look like, and some of the key items that are there. But it's going to be a little while before we start to find out all the details. Obviously, you can tune in for us here not at Games Frontline Gaming when more information becomes available and once we're able to do that full kind of rules preview. So that part there are going to be exciting to see. I think they're, Oath the Moment as it's set. It gets you, make sure it works really well against knights or some of those things with big monsters. But if you have an army that goes wide, a little bit more difficult. So I think that could be a crutch too for Space Marine players. So I'm going to be really interested to see.
Using the crutch word.
I think it can be. I don't know. So yeah. We'll see exactly kind of how that plays out. But I'm hoping that can give the entire army a better feel. Rather, at some point, just being able to kill that one unit, two if you bring Gilliam in or something else like that, it's got limited effect. Whereas hopefully a better army across the entire codex for it can play a little bit of a better role. So we got that part there. Seth, the next thing we wanted to make sure to cover for tonight, and this one's really just gonna be a brief item, but did you happen to see this announcement from Games? I think this was last Thursday or Friday.
Yeah, it was sometime last week, but yeah, Weta Workshop is now collaborating with Games Workshop, and if you haven't looked into Weta Workshop, they make some very high quality statues. They've been doing a lot of Lord of the Rings lately, which kind of makes sense because that license has always been pretty closely tied to GW. So even if GW doesn't have the license for like statues and figurines, they're traveling in the same business circles. So I'm excited to see what they've done. My wallet is less excited. I still haven't even gotten all the Orc Joy toys. And Weta Workshop models can be expensive, like a couple $100 for a statue. So I'm excited, but I just do like Space Marines, guys. Just do like Space Marines and Chaos. Leave the orcs out of it for a bit. Let me catch up on the Joy toy front, and then I'll do a Weta Workshop Orc collab.
Yeah, I think their models or their items, I think they're 1 to 6 size, so generally. They're pretty sizable. That's there, but high quality. And if you know Weta Workshop, they've had a long affiliation. That's there with Lord of the Rings as well. So that's kind of where things got started from that original. Still the best trilogy in my honest opinion. So that part there, really looking forward to that.
Okay, that's a take. That's a take.
Hey, I'm sure there's got to be others that agree with me on that one. That's not a wild take. It's not like I'm going for a 1% choice on this. That's a pretty common opinion, I would say. So with that, Seth, last thing I want to cover before we go into let's go to pre-orders first. Pre-orders for this week. Checking out big thing.
Respond to Dorian in chat. But yes, Dorian, we should have a lot of returning vendors to LVO. But yeah, so we've previously seen the plastic Lancer, Cerastus Knight Lancer. So these are the other two Cerastus class knights, the Castigator and the Acheron, coming in their beautiful plastic kits. I always have kind of been a fan of not so much the Lancer, but the Acheron and the Castellan. GW, you need to get away from using that particular name and its iterations. It's getting confusing. But yeah, it's big, it's beautiful, it's plastic. That means it's ripe for conversions. Could orcify one if I wanted to. Don't know that I could votanify one if I wanted to, but I could definitely orcify one.
Anything can be orcified. I think that's a general rule of Warhammer. So that's the good news that we've got going on there.
Yeah.
Yep.
Do you see the note from Disflux?
Yes.
All right. So yeah, I'm clear. I can keep talking. Don't worry. All right, cool. Nerd news. Do you want to take that one?
Yes. Real quick, folks. Loki season 2 coming up.
Yeah,
Just 2
Loki
weeks.
invaded our audio feed.
Yeah. So Loki's coming up season 2. New episodes gonna be on Thursdays. Which generally Disney Plus has been moving away from the Friday release, which I think is really kind of a good thing, because when a new episode comes out on Friday, I'm usually not going to be watching it Friday night or Saturday. So having it on a weeknight, whether it's Star Wars Ahsoka on Tuesday nights, I was watching the new episode last night at 9:30, and it was great. I loved it. I'm going to keep it spoiler free, but great episode. Make sure you check it out, folks. But yes, Loki season 2. It's only going to be 6 episodes. That has me a little concerned. I think that's a pretty short runway to get things going. But
Yeah.
we'll see.
I mean, it depends on where it picks up. If it picks up like, square where it left off, it could get some stuff done.
Yeah.
I mean, it's Loki. You're gonna watch it. You're gonna have fun.
I mean,
There'll be Hiddleston memes.
Yeah, he's an agent of chaos, and it's just going to be kind of crazy good times. So looking forward to that part of it. So we'll see what exactly we get with Loki. But Seth, we'll go ahead and jump in now for the FLG news. We got a couple of things here to know.
Floating around the interwebs. But FLG released another full color terrain set. And this time, it's something significantly different than what we've released in the past. This is a full color terrain set of the Games Workshop layout, which is really exciting to finally be able to announce. There's a deal running currently. If you were to be one of the first 100 people to purchase this set, it is $100 off, coming in at, I think, at a smooth $220. This includes the terrain, and as you can see, the base plates for the terrain. And this set is able to make all 4 of the current GW layouts. So that is super exciting. In terms of terrain, shows affiliate links and use them. But I'm super excited for this. I'm personally a little bummed, Nicky Dee. We were talking in our group chat. I placed an order earlier this week, and no one told me that the terrain would be available Tuesday, and I made an order Monday. So yeah, that was a bit annoying. But, that's a Seth problem. Seth loss is you, the viewers, gain. So no worries about that. SoCal is coming up next month. SoCal. This is the last call for ordering SoCal merch. Remember, if you want a shirt, if you want objective markers, you want a tray mat, whatever, order that now. You can pick it up at the event. There is no guarantee that they will have extras or spares. So keep that in mind. Of course, chat is immediately asking about the FLG GW terrain set. Will this become one of the terrain sets at LVO? I can't speak to that for right now, but I can tell you logistically that would mean producing and building 600 sets of terrain, which would mean very likely no one would be able to buy this terrain from us. So I doubt that we're going to see a full conversion over to that terrain set. But in terms of what you'll be expecting for LVO terrain, I would be staying tuned here. Probably, November, December post SoCal, we'll have our TOs on to let everyone know about that and make their decisions about what they want to take based on the terrain. But anyway, back to speaking of LVO, it is time for me to remind everyone about the Club Pass. I've been doing some legwork about this one lately. A lot of folks don't know about the Club Pass, so I want to remind everyone, what is the Club Pass? Very simply, the Club Pass is a pass that you buy in addition to your normal LVO tickets. And this is for a group, a team, a club. You don't all have to be on the same game system. You don't all have to be even playing in events. If you just have people that are coming to hang out, this ticket is one for a group. And the ticket is about, if I remember correctly, it's $150, and that covers up to 10 players. And for those 10 players, you have one person that has to go through the registration line. The other 9 can just enter the convention at 9 on, or whatever, not 9, well before 9. I don't know exactly what time, but Thursday, the night before everything kicks off, hit the vendor hall, have all that fun. You'll be able to, if you have a team that wants to get some swag, if you do want, mats, tray mats, objective markers, you get access to our custom merch store. We do have to approve the graphics, of course. You'll get a nice bucket of beer on us. And if you've ever seen the little pop-up signs that we have that are like, registration this way, Vanguard Tactics has them. I've seen a lot of other groups. We will be making every group that buys a Club Pass one of those pop-up banners to be displayed in our hall, and you can take them home afterwards, so you can show them off at your local store. If your team's going to other local events, you want to put up your team banner. It's a great way to kind of have some team pride. It's a great deal for, if you're talking about it's up to 10 players on the $150 pass. And then after that, it's $5 per player. So I think it's a great deal. I know a lot of folks that I've been talking to that didn't know about it are definitely interested in grabbing it for their team. There will be a link below in the show notes or in the show description afterwards for you to apply for that. There is a limited space there through those and getting in touch with people and getting them set up. So check that out. Get your applications in while you can. Lastly, I know folks have been asking about it. Kicker, who is not with us tonight, did share that he was able to finally lock down Cherokee, Rocky Mountain Open, and ACO dates. So those will be coming shortly. We just have to get Kicker back on here one of these nights. But, fatherly duties and other concerns were preventing him from being with us tonight. So anyway, Nicky Dee, let's get into the Signal Shorts. Are you ready?
I am ready. Let's go.
So you asked this one, and you answered it first. So I'm going to ask you because I don't have a great answer. What retiring firstborn Marine will you miss the most?
Yeah. So real quick context on this, folks, too. We know that with the Space Marines Codex, we were reminded that some of the firstborn or trueborn Marine models are going to be going away. You can go back. There was an announcement from Games Workshop, and it listed which ones are going away about a month ago, I think. So go check that out for the full list. But my choice is a pretty obvious one, for me at least, and it's the classic Dreadnought, the box Dreadnought. The reason why I am concerned or why I'm going to miss it is mostly because my Blood Angels. There's an alternative version for that kit for Blood Angels for a Death Company Dreadnought and a Furioso Dreadnought.
And a Librarian.
And a Librarian Dreadnought. I don't know what's happening with those yet, because we only know the things for the General Marines. That already might make me a little bit sad. When this announcement originally had come out, I think you and Kicker asked me, hey, how am I feeling? And my answer was, well, I don't really have a lot of the firstborn Marines, except for this Dreadnought guy.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I was trying to think through this. My answer is none. My Marine army that I have is mostly Primaris, because it was mostly a painting project army, and it's easier to paint Primaris than it is regular size Marines. So I don't really have one that I'm like hardcore gonna miss. I don't know. I like a lot of the Space Marine vehicles, a lot of the tracked vehicles. So I don't know if those are on the chopping block or not.
We know some of the not like the Predators, but like there's some of the more specialized ones. Like I think like the Hunter and the Stalker that came out that are more like anti-tank. But I don't think we see people. I don't think I've ever seen somebody use that in a game though. So
I had one in a previous army. Not in my current, but anyway. So there's my answer. None. Sorry, Marine players. This is a angry little space dwarf. I don't care about you.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. That part is fine. Well, Seth. Well, since we've got our signal short covered here, we also did realize
Yeah.
until Las Vegas
Hmm.
open,
Hmm.
people, less than 4 months. That is very
Yeah.
stress-inducing for Kicker and others
Well,
for
listen for
FNFLG
us
that are.
too, bud. We have our
Yeah,
work to do too.
I know, I know. I don't think it's hit me yet, Seth. That's the part for me, which might make it
Yeah.
worse. But anyways, we were thinking about this, and it was, well, with that, it's now is the great time to really kind of sit down, and for everyone that's going to be going for the event, making sure that you're planning out what you're going to do for the event, what you're bringing, how you're traveling, going through for all those things, especially because just as it goes to travel logistics. So, Seth, we've broken out some key kind of items here that we want to make sure to call out for everybody. And if you haven't started
Mhm.
thinking about these items yet, now is the time to start doing so,
Yeah.
because otherwise your Thanksgiving break, your Christmas break, your New Year's celebrations might be a little bit more stressful. So,
Yeah.
Seth, let's kind of walk people through the four
Yeah.
items. We've got 4 months to go, so we've broken it out into 4 items that we want to cover
Yep.
for tonight.
Yep. Travel is if you don't have your travel plan for LVO, I got news for you. It's coming and you need to plan on it. So he and I both about as cheap as it's going to get. It doesn't get much cheaper, and it's also most of the seats haven't been snapped up. So if you are someone who's big and tall and gangly like me, and you need some special seating for that reason, you can make sure you get it. So be looking into that. The hotel, I don't know that there's much room left in the LVO room block, but always, of course, if you're staying at the Rio, you can use our room block. That gets you a better rate. We do have the two levels of rooms to choose from. But if you haven't figured out if you're rooming with someone, they're all mates. I think might situation. The first GT I ever went to was in D'Iberville, Mississippi. And I went with four good friends that I had met like 2 weeks before that, but they ended up being very good friends. So I didn't have to worry about losing a kidney while I was on that trip. They ended up being great friends. But we shoved was one, two, three, four grown ass, no, five grown ass men in a very, very small hotel room in Mississippi. And two of the guys slept on air mattresses on the floor. And I kid you not, one of them, a retired Marine, slept on a stretcher. He brought a stretcher and slept on it. Um, it was not a comfortable arrangement for anyone. I was one of the two guys to get a bed, but it was not uh a luxurious accommodation. So definitely don't have to worry about if you cram that many guys into a room, uh literally tripping over and killing one of your friends. So keep that in mind. Don't make my mistakes. Packing, we're still a ways away from when you have to obviously lock in a list for LVO, but you do need to be thinking about how you're going to be transporting. If you do need to be getting Army transportation, if you're someone crazy like Dean, who's going to be bringing a big display board, I bet you got to figure out how to travel with that. So keep that in mind, kind of be planning, particularly if you are building something like a display board, you need to think about how can I break down and travel with this. If you are thinking about a horde style army, you got to be thinking about how you're going to be moving that from table to table at the event. Do you need to get an army carrying tray, things like that? So just keep that in mind. In terms of the event itself, make sure you have your tickets. There is the ticket exchange page going on the Frontline Gaming community page. You can post there. So if there is an event that you're looking for, the ticket sold out, you can see if anyone wants to sell one. Also, make sure if you're looking for a ticket for an event that is sold out, like the LVO Champs, you go on to the Frontline Gaming website and find that ticket and click the notify me when it is available. And I always do it notify me via text message because it'll really text your phone as soon as more of those items become available. And as FLG gets ticket returns, as people decide they're not going to go and they return the ticket to us, FLG, we put those tickets back on the web cart. That is the wait list. So that's another way to get your hands on tickets. So do that. That's an easy thing. If you're looking to do, if you're not doing a tournament, or you're doing a tournament that you might have a day off and you're not wanting to do something in Vegas and you want to do something in the event, be looking at the schedule of events to see what else you can do, kind of plan your time out. I would always say going to events, don't overcommit yourself. There's going to be plenty of time to do what you want, but you also don't want to feel obligated to, hey man, it's Sunday night and I'm super tired and I just want to crash. But this was the night that we booked to go to Caesar's buffet. And you're like, oh, well, it's a really good buffet and I'm not going to get it to go again, but I could fall asleep standing up like someone was last year. So just keep that in mind. You went with us to that, right, Nick?
I did not.
Okay.
No, I was meeting with some other friends for dinner. I remember hearing the story about that. But yeah, I think especially if you haven't gone for Vegas before and gone for the experience, make the most out of it. You're going and playing the games. The reality, and especially if you're playing in the 40K champs, there's 1,000 people that are playing in that. There's only so many.
16 will make it to Sunday.
Yes, there's only so many that's there. So if your choice is between, hey, do I, finish this game, round 3, game 6 on Saturday, or do I want to duck out early so I can go to a show with some friends or grab dinner and that sort of
Saturday
thing?
night.
Think about your, what you want to do, why you're there for it. You can grab games anytime, people. So it's that part of it. I think it's really part of the best experience.
Would you like another story time with Uncle Seth the Mad Dok?
We can go. I will say, folks did like your story, Seth, and chat. But Dean pointed out that having 5, that those are rookie numbers. He's fit 8+ in a room before. So,
Dean, I think you underestimate the size of this room. It was not a big. There wasn't a spare square inch on the floor. We almost had to put people next door with another set of friends that we just met. So you say, like, don't overtax yourself. Last year, our friends from the Stat Check crew were there, and one of the guys that it was his first year there, Cliff, really wanted a massage, I think on day 2, and literally booked his massage for round 5 and just like walked up to his opponent and was like, hey man, you win, I'm gonna go get a massage. And then came back and played the next round. Like he's like, if you want, he told his opponents, like, if you want a game, I'll be back in an hour and we can play, but like I'm not gonna like make you play a tournament game and with an hour of me spending it in a massage, so you win. So he was just like, I want to do this thing, and I'm he knew where he was in the event. He wasn't going to be in contention to win, so he was like, I'm skipping out on a round and I'll be back in a bit. So, if you're having a good time at lunch, you don't want to come back, that's fine,
Yeah, between the
that.
games, I mean, you've got 3 rounds that are 3 games. You got 3 games that are 3 hours. Can I talk tonight? Three games that are 3 hours. You've got time that you have to get down there early, time in between. Like all things, it's a 12-hour day, folks. So yeah, like make sure you're comfortable for it. Vegas itself can be pretty taxing. Time zone change. I've traveled to Vegas multiple times this year myself.
Doesn't mean anything in Vegas.
Well, that is kind of true. They pump oxygen in there. You get enough caffeine in your system, you're good to go anyway.
Well, just like you're like, how long have I been awake? I don't know. It could be 2 hours. It could have been 20. Anyway, playing your hobby projects. If you are, someone going for a paint award or a display board, you obviously don't want to be trying to smash those models out in the last days leading up to the event. If you're trying to do a more intensive hobby project, spread your time out. I know lots of folks that when they get done with LVO or they get done with whatever big event they're doing each year, here locally, it's like Warzone Atlanta. I know a couple guys that at the end of each Warzone, it's all right, that army is done. It goes on the shelf and I begin working on the hobby project for next year's army. So just, you've got time, you got the holidays to work around, but you can budget that time and still get things done. Again, keeping in mind how you're going to pack and travel with those armies. There's some figures out there that are very spindly, so you don't want to. There's always a small amount of breakage in most armies when you travel, but you don't want to have a catastrophe and be rebuilding your army the Thursday before everything goes off.
There we go. If I hit my unmute button. To that point, Seth, I think it's one of the items too that for folks that haven't traveled or haven't flown for armies before, haven't flown for events before with your army, make sure you have your army in a bag that can go in the carry-on, or if it's something where you've got a crazy hobby display, you may need to go through other things like that. But and it is an item where, hey, if you need to make sure you upgrade your seats and that sort of thing, so you know that you can get overhead space or that you can fit it under your seat, that is definitely the time to do so. You don't want to be
Or if you're
spending.
crazy, like a certain group of goblins I know, you can plan out your road trip to LVO so that you don't have to physically fly with items. That's another option as well.
Yeah, so just become a hobby goblin, everybody, and then you get to road trip with them. Is the I think
You gotta pile into the car, and there you go. Although that trip does take a little longer.
Yeah, I could see that, especially if you have to go down to Florida to meet them. But
Yeah.
Seth, what about that after hobby project? And this last item we've kind of touched on it a little bit already. That and last year was my first LVO experience, and I was working on the kind of production side of things, so I've not gone and played an LVO. But even still, the games themselves are not really the highlight for most folks, and that may come kind of as a shock, but really it's more so the entire gaming experience being
Yeah.
around that many hundreds, or it's actually really, I mean,
Thousands.
40K alone has 1,000, right? So it's
Yeah,
being
it's
around the
thousands.
thousands of other gamers.
Yeah, it is definitely a social event. We're working on, actually this is a good chance to kind of throw it out to the community. There's a pub crawl that a lot of folks go on Saturday night. Vegas has a ton of things going on, shows, great food. You can go rent a machine gun and not run around Vegas with it, but shoot it at a range. You can go skydiving, you can go gamble, you can go, obviously, like gambling, it's Vegas. But there's plenty to do in Vegas. A lot of times people will organize team activities. One of the things that Kicker and I are trying to reinvigorate or revive is a spouse program for spouses that want to come and hang out at the event. My wife might have been voluntold to do that. But if there are anyone in chat that has a spouse that's interested in going, reach out to me so we can kind of get the group conversation going with those interested, because my wife has gone to Cherokee a few years now and has made some friends there, and that makes it a much more exciting trip for her. And when the trip is exciting for both of us, I'm not spending Seth brownie points to go leave my wife. It's a us trip. But this is a very much a social event. This is by far the largest event that Frontline Gaming throws every year. And just on numbers alone, there are going to be tons and tons of guys that every year, this is the one place I see them. But these are where, Nick, you said your games may not necessarily be the highlight, but the games, if you're coming and you don't know a lot of people, your games are your chance to make a new friend. Your game's a chance to check in on a guy, every round. Hey, how you been? How was your last round? Plenty of friendships get made across the gaming table, and then those friendships are continued year after year as you see everyone. I know I'm excited to see, I've been with the international crowd. I didn't make it to WTC. I've been reaching out to them to see who's coming. I'm excited to see some of the international crew coming back over that I haven't been able to see since last year. I'm excited to hang out with everyone. I'm sure you and I'll be running around until we're dead. But for everyone else that gets to have a more relaxing LVO experience, it's a great chance to see people and reconnect with them. Particularly when a lot of times when we have these friendships at these events, a lot of it is maintained digitally via distance. I'm always on group chats and texting and Discord and Facebook and all that. It's we see Dorian in chat every night that we do this, but it's once a year or twice a year that we get to see Dorian in person. So that's always exciting.
Yeah, I don't even know if Dorian's a real person, to be honest. I have not met Dorian. Dorian could just be an AI bot that's in the chat that you set up. I don't know. Until I meet Dorian at LVO, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, AI has gotten pretty good. Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, we will see for what we go through and getting excited for LVO. But Seth, I think we're going to be talking a lot more about LVO
Yep.
in the coming weeks, coming months. A lot of time that's here, but let's go ahead and start to wrap up for tonight's show. I know you got a few things that you want to cover
Yep.
on Frontline Gaming news, and then some community news.
Yep. Well, do you have the community poll results? All right. Well, I'll news, and then you can get the community poll results. But on the affiliate front, our good friends over at Play on Tabletop, I had some great conversations with them this past week about other things going on that I can't say yet, but be excited. They dipped their toes into Marvel Crisis Protocol, which was exciting to see. With all people, they had Bridger over to help them get into that from Titans, but it's not as if Titans hasn't been putting out content. Titans has been putting out loads of Tyranid bat reps. So if you want to see Tyranids in action, go over to check them out on the Tabletop Titans channel. And then if you want a more deep dive into Tyranids, our buddies over at Vanguard Tactics have been doing deep dives into each one of the Tyranid detachments and breaking down all their rules, their stratagems, their enhancements, their combos, all that fun. So a great little dive there too. So if you want to get yourself up to speed on what's going on with the new NIDs, or you can just probably message Dean in chat and he'll talk your ear off about him.
Yes. All right. So kicking it back for a second, our community poll results. So
Yep.
we asked this week, based on the balanced data slate, what faction are you most excited for?
Mm-hmm.
Seth?
There's only one answer.
Leagues of Votann, right?
Yeah, I voted for Votann.
Yeah, Leagues of Votann, 38% of the vote. They are the faction that people are most excited
Small
for.
Kings.
Yeah. Second, Death Guard.
All right.
33% for Death
That's
Guard.
solid.
So,
That's right behind him.
yeah. So I'm happy with that. I'm not totally into playing Death Guard. I'm going to focus on Necrons or maybe my Blood Angels. But Death Guard, they're pretty alluring. And then there was a grouping for other, and that got, I think, 28% of the vote. People in the comments there were sure to point out, because I did not list this as one of the options. I had limited options to pick. So I included Admech.
Mm-hmm.
And then Drukhari as one. I know they've had some good positive results from some tournaments. Drukhari have winning some events. But the one that people pointed out that I did not list, and I apologize, and I was wrong, Tau.
Oh, yes.
A lot of people that are excited for Tau.
They didn't get any rule changes, but they got a lot of points changes. And yeah, I've seen a lot of people getting real excited about Tau. So, certainly going to be an army to consider when evaluating the meta moving forward. So keep them in mind.
Yeah.
You ready for some community spotlight news?
Yes, let's go to that. So
Well,
I'm gonna while you're talking, I'm gonna pull up our images here so people can see everything that we're chatting about.
So I want to give a huge shout out to the community for supporting the folks over at Charity Hammer. If you remember last week we talked about it. This was the charity stream that went for 72 hours across multiple channels. God bless Joe from Wargaming's Live. He was at the microphone far more than I thought he was going to be. I kind of figured Joe would like leave the stream running, but like go get a solid 8 hours. No, like the dude got like 2 hours and would get back up and keep streaming in total. And I gotta say, I gotta tip my hat to them. The year I was there, we hit $40,000. Their goal was to beat that, and they achieved that goal, raising close to $48,000 for Child's Play, which is an amazing charity that helps entertain and try to bring a little bit of joy to the life of children in children's hospitals and domestic shelters. So great work there for the Best in Tabletop crew. And our good friend and frequent event attendee, Ben Jurek, now has to get multiple tattoos because of Charity Hammer. So good luck, Ben. Have fun explaining that to your wife.
Hey, Seth, what's his last name again?
Jurek.
Are you sure about that?
You sure it's not Mac Jurek?
Yeah, that's yeah. I mean, and also, didn't Ben win one of the recent Frontline Gaming events as well?
He did. I believe he most recently he won LSO.
Lone Star.
Yep. And then prior to that, I think he's won SoCal.
Yeah, I think I've seen as well that he's striving for perhaps to keep up the reign of orcs at SoCal.
You
Maybe,
know,
perhaps.
I love Ben McJurk, Lard Ben McJurk, but he's been on that Eldar train just a little long. He did win Charity Hammer with Eldar, so but I think it's time for him to come home. I've taken my crown of war boss off for a bit. He can pick that mantle back up. I'll let him have it. All right. Community spotlight over on the Frontline Gaming community page. We pulled some awesome models that have been shown off. Carlos Gomez working on the new Psychophage. I love the organic scheme he went with here, but he still got the pop with that bright green and that kind of blood effect. So great work there, Carlos. One of our friendly commission painters, Fighting Dice, working on some Drukhari Raiders. That line highlighting is underappreciated, guys. That line highlighting is crisp, and I have done similar techniques in Tau, and it sucks to do. So great job. I know that had to be a pain, but great job, Fighting Dice. Our other friend and fantastic painter, Patrick Martin, he is working on some vampires and battle cats. That's the what range is that from? It's the AOS range. What do they call the
Yeah.
vampires now?
Soulblight Gravelords, and I'm not sure Battle Cat is the official terminology,
It
but
is now.
that's what he listed it as, and that's the only thing that I'm going to read it as.
Yeah, I mean, Battle Cats. Oh, and then finally, Steven posted this great work in progress of the Lord of Death himself, Mephiston, and I'm sure that just tugged at your Blood Angels little heartstrings there, bud.
I mean, I'm not gonna lie, Seth. There were other work in progress or finished items that were put into, but we're only gonna cover so many. When I'm figuring out what that last one is that's going in the slideshow presentation,
Blood Angel certainly
the
bumps
blood
you up.
angel, the
Yeah.
blood angel gets me. Yeah, the blood angel
All right.
gets me.
All right.
And Mephiston is probably my favorite character too.
Producer
So.
Nicky Dee Cannon confirmed clearly Blood Angel bias.
I won't deny it. No, not at all.
All right.
Not me. Not me.
All right. Well, final thoughts for the night, Nick.
Yeah, no, I'm really excited. I gotta say, I'm gonna be out the next couple of weeks. I'll be away on some travel, so I'm not gonna be playing, not really be doing anything about
This
Warhammer.
is the face of the man that remembers that Nicky Dee
Yeah.
was out for the next few weeks.
Yeah. But I'm really excited to jump back into playing games as soon as I get back. I'm really excited. I've seen and heard from so many of my friends that they are dusting armies off of their shelves since the balanced data slate and looking to try new things. I've been chatting with some friends about new Necron ideas for lists. I've got an RTT that I'll be playing in November, so I'm not playing Warhammer or at least in a tournament for about 2 months. That's how long I'm going to have as far as a break. But I can't wait to get back and playing some games. So you'll see me in a couple weeks, folks. I'll still pop in on the Facebook community to say hello or post a poll or do something else like that, or
Chat,
maybe yeah. So we'll see from that. But Seth, that's it for me. What about you before we close?
That's it for me. I'm gonna try to get a few more. I need to finish building a bunch of Votan models.
Yeah, you do.
And then I'm gonna try to get some more games in on TTS. Maybe while watching some football, or maybe I'll finally kick into my spooky movie marathon. Who knows? But I will be here next week, hopefully with Kicker, and I'll have to control him and produce next week. So chat, be praying for me. But until next time, we really hope you enjoyed this episode of Signals from the Frontline. Thank you so much for joining us. Have a great week, and we will see you next Wednesday.